This is Gamble Quest, where we discuss all things gambling, poker, blackjack, roulette, dice. It doesn't matter. If you're gambling on it, we discussing it. Let's go on this journey together as we educate ourselves on the gambling world. What's up, everybody? This is Emmanuel from Gamble Quest. Today we'll be interviewing Michael Brown. He's an entrepreneur, but he has a heart for the youth. He runs a basketball league here in St. Petersburg, Florida. First thing I want to say, Mike, is thank you for coming and interviewing with me. How you feeling today, my brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. Blessed to be here.
That's
man.
what's
I'm
up.
excited about this.
That's what's happening, man. Today we'll be speaking about video game gambling and also a little bit about sports betting. My first question to you is, Mike, is how did you get involved with sports betting? What was your introduction to sports betting?
My introduction came when I found out that people were going to like gambling houses around here in South St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
I then learned that what point spreads were.
Mm-hmm.
I always had an idea and a feel for it, but once I learned at the time, Alabama's college football team was very dominant. So this had to be around like 2013 or 12.
Okay.
And I liked them to cover a lot of their games. So
Okay.
I found out what these places were, and I would go place my bets. And from there, back then you had to do at least 3 games on a particular ticket, which is called a parlay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got involved. The first few I missed, but after a while I started hitting them pretty good.
Okay. Okay. So what is the primary sport do you bet on? Is it basketball, football?
Yeah, so those are the main 2 for me.
Mhm.
And I preferably I go college, because college, they are playing every game like it's its last. NFL football too, because it's a week by week thing. I think NBA is the most dangerous because with an 82 game season, as you know, people are taking breaks, or they're just not playing with like they're not putting the most into it the way I feel they should.
Definitely.
But again, with the collegiate level, they're trying to get to that professional
That
level.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I would like to bet. I like to bet with that.
Okay. Awesome, man. So what goes into you picking the team or the over under? Like, what type of research do you do before you make this decision to make the bet?
Right. A lot of my research comes from just watching the team and the momentum of what they've been doing in maybe games prior.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm watching a lot of teams out of, say, if you're talking college football, you look at the Big Ten, a lot of those teams are kind of staying under, so I'm watching that. And if the over under is, say, like 50, 51, I'm liking it to stay under that because those are hard-nosed games. So just just studying it, essentially. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to study it top to bottom and see, because I'm putting my money up.
Okay.
So I try to make the most sound decisions I possibly can.
Okay. In your opinion, do you truly think somebody can make a living off sports betting?
That's an incredible question. I would say yes.
Okay.
And here's why. Here's why. If you're doing, first of all, in order to do that, though, you need to go straight bets and you need to bet big money.
Okay.
Now, off of parlays, I don't think so.
Okay.
Parlays is how the house make their money.
Okay.
People get greedy off $10. If you put a lot of games on one ticket, that $10 could probably return you potentially over 1,000, depending on how many games you put on.
Okay.
So, but they know that's desperation. You're not about to hit 11 games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a chance it could happen, but it's extremely slim that would be.
Okay.
Now, in regards to making a living off of it, absolutely. Again, but you got to go game by game basis, in my opinion, if one were to do that.
Okay. So you're saying that some people can make a living off sports betting. Besides money, what else do they need?
I would say more so, in my opinion, studying. You got to really watch the effort. So like this year, if you're watching, I feel Oregon Ducks in college football, they play the same way every game. They give all that they have, and they're the number 1 team in the nation right now as we head into the college football playoffs. This will actually be their first game. The playoffs started. They had a bye, so this will be their first game coming up.
Okay.
I don't think Oregon is the best team. However, I do feel Oregon is a team that will give their all every single time, and they will be the same Oregon every single week. Whereas a lot of teams in the top 5, top 10, they're really good, right? But I'm not sure if they're going to put forward the same performance-based effort. So Oregon is a for sure thing. So I'm saying that to say that's what I would be looking at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Who's the most consistent at what they're doing, and I can base around that. Those are like the safe go-tos.
Okay.
Another example right now in college basketball, I feel Auburn men's basketball team. One I did research on, they had the COVID year. So you got a lot of guys that are 24 and 25 years old. And they're playing against these 18, 19-year-old one and done kids. So as good as these kids may be who 18, 19, y'all still playing grown men. So I'm going to go with Auburn, who not only are they older, they are good with a great coach. So I try to look at, again, what could be stagnant with like a good degree of consistency.
To me, it sounds like you're saying consistency. You're looking at the most consistent team,
100%,
that plays the most consistent, and you kind of will place your money in that direction.
100%.
Gotcha.
100%.
Now, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm pretty sure you remember this. It was a few years ago. We were at Mr. Paul's house. We was watching, I think it was Sunday night football. We was watching football, and you hit a 9-pick parlay.
Correct.
Was it 9?
It was 9.
Okay, go ahead.
It was 9.
All right. So what went into you picking those 9 games? Can you like go into that?
You know what's so crazy about that?
Yeah.
Is that, I had called Mr. Paul the night before. We were talking about stuff with the basketball league that I run, and but I say, man, these games looking real sweet tomorrow. So I named them like 6 or 7 of them. I'm like, these games are going to cover. And I said, I see another 2 to 3 that I like. So the next day, I actually couldn't make it to the gambling spot. I gave Uncle Philip. I had him put the bet in for me, and I'm like, I'm gonna give you the cheese back when I see you. Just put it in. I only put $10 on it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
True story, man. 6 of the 9 games were the 1 o'clock games. So this was NFL. I took a nap.
Yeah.
And I woke up to like 7, 8 missed calls.
Okay.
And then I checked my messages, and they're like, boy, I know you see this ticket. Uncle Philip said, this ticket burning a hole in my pocket. Yeah. You hit them all. So I'm getting up, I'm checking. It was 1 game remaining for the 1 o'clock games. I had got 5 of the 9 right. The 1 more was coming on for the one was going to finish up. And it cleared. So now I just needed 3 more games to go through that came on at like the 4 o'clock times. 2 of the remaining 3 passed with a landslide. It was just and my last game was like an Oakland Raider game, and it was a dog fight, but obviously I came through with it. So yeah, but same thing though. That was a lot of research though.
Okay.
I just felt like those teams was gonna come out and play a certain way, so that's who I picked.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Now it's not all about winning. You don't win every single week. How do you deal with your losses?
I definitely don't get discouraged. I get annoyed because I feel like it's gonna sound weird. I feel like an imagination thing is outsmarting me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why am I not winning? You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a 1 pick. I'm like, bro, I couldn't pick a game. You know what I'm saying? So never discouraged, because I'll always, my older brother told me, don't ever get involved with this with something that you can't afford to lose. In fact, when you step into this, put it in your mind that this is money you are going to lose.
Okay.
So that's always been in mind. So the money thing isn't a thing because of how I go in with that mental state. But it can be frustrating. But I like to compete more than anything, and that's where like if you hear stories about certain people who like, especially like richer people, they're like, oh, they're losing all this money. For them, it's a competitive thing more so than the actual money. And then yes, when you actually start winning, it feels good to take, because it's almost like it's another source of income that I'm making from my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just having a proper perception of what this is and what it can do. I'm making some bread. Like, it feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I love to watch sports, and who doesn't? Okay. So.
But you were the best NBA live player on PlayStation, I'm going to say, in the state of Florida, because today you can just log on and you can play for real money.
Correct.
On sites like Players Lounge, FanDuel. You used to play against people, but you used to actually set the matchup, travel around, and go play these people.
Correct.
Go into that, Mike. How did you get so good at NBA Live?
So NBA Live 95 came out in 95. Technically 94. The game, whatever year it is, the game comes out the year prior, technically. So if it's NBA Live 95, it comes out the 94-95 season, right? So we had Super Nintendo, if I'm doing that right. Super Nintendo is when it came out. You could have had it on Sega, but my brother and I had Super Nintendo. You used to be over there playing with us. And just really back then, what's so crazy, we were that's when we had the multi-tap, and all of us would play on teams. But then from time to time, we compete against each other.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to play seasons and full 82 game seasons on my own. And then from there, it just kind of jumped into me playing kids from the area, the neighborhood. Once NBA Live 97 came out, I think that's when maybe PlayStation 1, if I'm not mistaken, probably came out. That's when the gambling started for me.
Okay. Now, what was your first real match for money? Do you remember that?
I do. So it depends. Like, you mean like big money or just money in general?
Just money in general. What was your first
money
match?
in general, and this is the guy that put me onto the big money, was a guy at my school whose name was also Mike. And he was getting money, and he actually played for the football team. And back then, I played basketball. Football team basketball, we wasn't cool like that at all. You know what I'm saying? But he came to my hub where I would be talking trash in my face about playing me in the game, but I saw it was love, and he was just on some let's get money. So he went and he gambled, and it was a $20 game. That was a lot of money to me at the time.
Yeah.
And I peeled him real quick, took the 20, and he played again. And he was just watching to see how good I was. Then the next day, he took me off on 37th.
Yeah.
And we was in some areas. And
we finna go into that. We finna go into that, Cole. Yeah. The environments you were in trap houses. Some trap houses playing this game for money.
All trap houses.
Tell us about those environments.
Yeah, oh man, listen, you got to be cut for it. Yeah. You got listen. I can't explain it. Yeah. You got to be there. Everything I'm talking. As soon as you walk in, weed smell, aroma.
Yeah.
That's all you get. And back then, I wasn't no smoker, so I'm walking into that. And then you got dudes in there who's just literally, they talking greasy to you from the moment you walk in. Yeah. I went to Lakewood High School, which is across 54. A lot of people didn't like that. 54 coming in here. I'm 15, 16 years old. I didn't care about none of that though, because I already knew what it was. And we finna play this game for this money. And I've already been told what we can possibly make. And if that's true, I don't care about none of that. We're finna get this bread. So.
Okay, how did you deal with that environment?
Honestly, for me, I was in another zone.
Yeah.
Like, I literally cued everything. I just locked in on the game, locked in on my matchups, locked in on my strategies. I ran actual defenses that I learned from my high school coach, and I ran that on the game. I can say that now because I don't play really no more, but yeah, I did that, and I did make some adjustments that I won't share because I might jump back out there. But yeah, no, I just locked in. I mean, they were all, you like, man, listen, you hit them in the mouth early, jump on them a quick 18 to fold. They don't want to play no more.
Okay, now. Tell me about the teams you played with, and why did you pick those teams?
That's a good question. So there was a point in time, if you're talking that when I first started getting money, like real money, that was 2001 or 2. So Lakers.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant. Back then, they would have under the player, as you played with them, they would have like a 3-ball they could shoot threes.
Okay.
They would have like a lock on them if they had good defense.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Rick Fox, Robert Ory, Shaquille O'Neal.
That's what I'm saying. That's like all-star team.
So and then if somebody like, we play with fatigue on, I don't care. Okay, off the bench is Devin George. I remember the roster. We was so. That was that. And then around 04, 05, it was the Dallas Mavericks or the Houston Rockets because Dirk Nowitzki was unstoppable in the paint. But you still, who else was on his team at this time? Might have been Michael Finley. I think Nash had just got traded to the Suns. But then if you got the Rockets, you had T-Mac and Yao Ming on one team. And then you had Cuttino Mobley on that team too. And all of them was just dangerous. And you wasn't finna score on Yao Ming. See, so when I went to like 04, 05, people was trying to crab and take the Lakers, but Shaq had just got traded, you know what I'm saying, to the Heat.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you had to go find another team. So they would try to go get the Mavericks or whoever else. I would just lock in with them Rockets. And couldn't nobody see me.
I just want them to know how good you were at this game.
Well, for people...
Just estimate. We know it was a long time ago.
Correct. No, I never lost.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I never lost.
Okay.
I went to one trap one time and they tried to ambush me and change the game speed and they changed the view.
Okay.
So that game I did lose by like 1 point, but you're not allowed to do that. You can't. If anybody that's gambling, anybody that gamble on the game or whatever, you can't. If I play, you got to play at the default setting of what it comes on.
Yes.
That's the neutral thing that a gambler from St. Pete and a gambler from Milwaukee would know. I can't have something that only I do and make you play by that rule.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And the guys I was like, well, still bet. And I lost by like 1 point in overtime. However, I played that dude again 3 times regular and beat him by like 40. Then I went back to that initial view and beat him. So if you want to count that loss, that's fine. But other than that, I've never lost in that game.
So you would you say that was your toughest match?
No, he wasn't my toughest match. He just changed the view. My toughest matches.
Tell me about your toughest match.
Came from maybe my brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I got really good. I think my brother could have beat a lot of people. I think my homeboy Mo could have beat a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That was the toughest match. Going to the traps, that was always blowouts.
Yeah, okay.
Them dudes is high and they not focused. And a lot of them are not. Now, I will say Tampa Projects, they had some guys that could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some guys that can go, but I wound up getting a hold of them too.
Okay.